So a pretty exciting day for TONEX users. There's a new TONEX update out, and what an update it is. It's really not adding any new features. It is going to have a few small bug fixes, but the really big news is the folks at IK have added a lot of free new content for existing and new users. So here's what's going to happen. TONEX MAX software, which is included when you purchase a TONEX pedal, the big pedal, is going to include 150 new presets. And with those new presets, there's going to be 115 new tone model captures, which are going to include an assortment of amps, pedals, and bass captures. What about TONEX One users? We know that TONEX One includes software version TONEX SE, and TONEX SE and TONEX One users are going to get 20 new captures and presets. So a really great new addition. Doesn't cost any existing users any more money. You go and simply download this and you will get these. So we're going to do a couple things today. I'm going to show you a very important first step just to be on the safe side, and that is doing proper backups. And I thought this would be a pertinent time to talk about it. Since anytime we're going to do an update, that is a great time to make sure we have things backed up just in case something goes wrong. So I'm going to show you how to do that, show you how to go through the update process, and then I'll show you a little bit about what we get with the new update. So let's get on with this. So here we are on the TONEX software. Now, if we go into our global settings here, we can check our info. You can see I'm here on version 1.9.0. Now, one really great thing to do, and this is something we should do regularly, is we can come into the account tab. So again, if you notice here, I went up to the top right corner, little hamburger button, account tab, and then I'm going to back up my library. So it says this is going to back up your current library of tone models. Are you sure you want to proceed? And yes, I do. So you'll notice here that it is going through this process. It's telling me on screen library backup in progress. We'll let that continue. So this does take a short while. I'll edit this to be shorter in the video, but this is a worthwhile step. Really, we don't have to do anything else other than just wait for this to complete. All right, and there you have it. It is complete now. Now, if we ever want to restore that library, we can click the Restore Library button, and this is going to delete our current library of tone models and replace it with the latest backup. So it says, are you sure you want to proceed? I'm not going to do that right now, but you can kind of see the same process. We can click up in the top right corner, go to our account tab, hit Restore Library, and we can continue on as such. Now, let's also look at doing the same thing for our pedal. So you can see here, I have a beautiful setup on my pedal, utilizing some of these new tone models from the collection I just released as of this week, which is the Copper Gold Ultimate and DI collection, which is based off of my beautiful new Victory VC35, the Copper Deluxe amp. A short snippet playing with my new 50s custom shop Strat on one of these tone models, the Alt 4 tone model. Those are just really beautiful tones. So you notice there, I've dialed that in with a little bit of delay and whatnot. And let's just say that's one of the many presets I've dialed in that I really don't want to lose. So we can follow a similar procedure. Now you'll notice something interesting. If I go up to the same little hamburger button up here in the top right corner, I can actually back up my software library from here also, or restore my software library from here. So I could do all of what I did within the TONEX software app also here in TONEX Editor, but we're not interested in that. We're interested in backing up our pedal. So I'm going to come up to my little gear icon here. I'm just going to pull this over so we can actually see what's going to be on screen. I'll hit my gear icon. It says library, and it gives me the option to export the library. So let's do that right now. This is going to export my pedal library. So let's do that. And it's going to ask me to name it. So let's just name this April 16th-1. I had done one earlier, 25. Just give it the date. And you'll notice it's going to put it in a libraries folder that TONEX Editor chooses. So you can see here it says syncing, please wait. So it's doing the backup as of now. We'll let that run its course. So you'll notice it tells us that library successfully exported to this file. So that's wonderful. So before we carry on, let's go through another step here. Let's go back to our gear icon, come to our library, and I'm going to say to import default library. So let's do that. Now this is telling me something very important. It says all presets and settings on the pedal will be overwritten. Do you wish to continue? Let's just go for it. Since I've backed up, I shouldn't be concerned. So I want to show you what would happen kind of in a worst case scenario where we've had to reset our pedal back to factory and lost all of our presets and any of the hard work we may have put into our tones on our pedal over whatever time frame we've been using it. So we'll let this just import the default library back onto the pedal. So you'll notice here, once it was done, it really didn't take long, probably under a minute. It says default preset library successfully imported. So let's say we ended up in a situation where our pedal got defaulted back to its factory settings. You'll notice here that my carefully curated presets that I had on here, that beautiful new copper gold ultimate preset with some delay built in, is now gone. So if this was the case and we had already completed that backup, we can simply come up to our gear icon up here, go to library and say import library. It's going to open up that backup that I just made here in the libraries folder where it stored it. And you'll notice here it has this April 16-125 backup that I made. And I'm going to click on that. And it's going to say all presets and settings on the pedal will be overwritten. Do you wish to continue? I'm going to say yes. I want to go back to my nice backup that I had, and we'll allow this to do its work here. And I get the message that my backup that I had made while we were here together on camera has been restored. I click OK, and you can see that I have my beautiful little presets back again. The same preset here on this JS Copper Gold Alt 4 with a little delay. Beautiful tones. I've got those right back. The links are going to be below to this collection if you're so inclined and you like what you hear. I will play you a full-blown demo video of these tones utilized in a full mix on the way out. So basically, I wanted to cover that little topic here because I've had a lot of people reach out to me over the years of using TONEX and say, oh my goodness, my pedal got reset, or I had to reset my pedal and I lost everything. So a really important thing to add to our workflow is this idea of doing constant backups. Let's just get in that habit. Go up to your little gear icon or hamburger button up here in the top right corner and back up both our software libraries and our pedal libraries and settings, and we'll never have an issue. Keep a couple backups of those and things will be good. Let's actually get on to doing the 1.9.1 update. So as with any of these updates, what we're going to want to do is head over to IK Multimedia Product Manager. It may ask you to update the product manager itself to keep it up to date. And if it does ask you to do that, simply do it and then log into your account that you own your IK licenses on. And what you'll see is something like this. I'm showing Amplitude here on screen just because I haven't updated to the latest version yet. But you'll notice here that will give us this little recycle icon with the word update. We click that. It's going to download the appropriate update. Once it's downloaded, it's going to tell us to then install that. I can't show you this new version and how it's going to work within IK Multimedia's product manager simply because it's not on there yet. I have an early beta version that I've been messing around with so I could shoot this video. So I am going to utilize the installer that I do have that was given to me by the folks at IK, and this is what will come up on your screen is we're going to want to install TONEX. I'm going to say yes, continue. Gives us the license, continue through that, and we'll have to agree to this. Now, we do get to this point where it asks us what we would want to install or upgrade. And you'll notice I don't have the AAX or AU versions on here. I use the VST3 plugin within Cubase, the standalone in the TONEX editor. You'll notice those say to upgrade, and I would like to do just that. I will click continue. Tells me how much installation space this is going to take, and then it will start its update process, which I will allow this to do. And there we have it. Installation was successful. So let's get our TONEX editor and TONEX software back open and see where we're at with this. So here we are back in TONEX software, and everything kind of looks the same as it should. But if we come up into our top right corner here to a little hamburger button, again, we'll go to info. You'll notice now that I'm on version 1.9.1, so we know it's been a successful update. So what is different? At first glance, we can kind of look and go, well, it doesn't really look like much is different. I'm going to tell you one thing you can do, though. Go up to our date added button on our tone model tab down here, and then scroll up to the top, and you're going to see the latest latest added tone models, and you'll see this little IK badge beside all of these. So you'll notice as I scroll down here, I get a lot of new tone models. So that's one way you can go and check exactly what brand new tone models you've received, all the way down here to where it says IK, right? So you can notice here we have some orange amps, Roland, Mesa Boogie, PV 5150, Engel Fireball, Marshall Super Lead, Soldano SLO 100. So a lot of great new content. And you can see as I'm scrolling here, that's the tone models. Now we can also head over to our preset tab, and you'll notice that if I come down here to user folders, there's factory presets version 1 and factory presets version 2. So this version 2 has been added. So these are the new presets that were added, and we can actually just take a listen to some of these with, let's say, some of the demos here that we have. Now it's really going to be dependent on, which one of these we decide to choose, whether it's going to really work with the particular tone at hand. Some kind of cool things here, using modulation on the presets and whatnot. The bass amp. Now be careful on some of these. There is no cab based on, simply because they're an amp only, as is mentioned here. So if we do want the sound of a cab on there, we want to look for ones, if we're demoing, that are going to include a cab. So there we have a Roland JC120 Jazz Chorus. Again, you'd want to pick the appropriate demo model to kind of showcase these tones. But as we can see, we have a lot of nice presets there. We can also go back to the tone models like I showed here and also just listen through them. If I come in here and reset my chain, we can just sort of hear how these were captured without any of the effects. Obviously, we could do these with our own guitar as well. So that's basically what's new within the software. Really nice addition. Big thanks to the folks at IK for giving us another great update with a lot of free content. Nobody has to pay anything more for this. It's just going to be included with your update. Let's head over to the editor and see if we get any surprises when we open that up. I still have my big TONEX White Anniversary pedal hooked up, the same one I was using to demonstrate the backup process before. So let's see what happens now that we've updated when we open up TONEX Editor. Now you're going to notice something here right away. It comes up and tells me that firmware update is needed. Now this is one of the reasons I say it's so important that before we do any updating, that we should do that backup of both our software and our pedal, because at this point there is no way to do that. Even if I click this off and come up here, you'll notice that the library where I would do my backup is no longer there. And so we have an issue now that we can't even utilize TONEX Editor until we do a firmware update. Let's click out of this, come back into TONEX Editor again. It's going to tell me to update the firmware. So let's do that. I'm going to hit the update firmware button. I'm not too concerned here because, as I said, I've already done a backup. And if something goes wrong, that it resets my pedal back to factory settings, there simply isn't an issue. Now, my understanding is that it shouldn't reset your pedal back to factory settings. You'll notice here that the firmware is now up to date. All right, so the firmware update is complete, and you'll notice it didn't actually reset my pedal. I don't need to go up to my backup, but the beautiful part is, if I so desired, I still could import that library that I had backed up just in case something had gone wrong in this process. But here I am back with the pedal now, and you'll notice if I go up to my librarian tab, I can now go into my preset tab, up to my little filter button here, and you'll notice factory presets version 2. So here's all these brand new presets we received with the update that I could simply transfer over to the pedal, but I'm not going to do that right now because I've been just enjoying playing these new tones from my latest Copper Gold collection. One very cool thing that I do want to point out about TONEX Pedal, and if you do decide to go back and import the default library that comes with this update, you'll see here I have my setup right now. Let me just slide this over a bit so this will be on screen. Let's come up to the gear icon. We'll go to the library, and since I've already made a backup, I'm not concerned about losing what I have here, but I'm going to say to import the default library, and we'll say yes, I don't mind overwriting. This will just take a minute or two to do this, but it's going to be kind of interesting when you see what the default library that is included with this update as far as the pedal goes. We'll give this a second to update and then I'll take you through it. All right, so you can see here that the default preset library that comes with this update has been successfully imported. I'll hit OK. Now, we can come over to our pedal and you can see that they have organized these in banks of 3. So the 3 buttons that are on TONEX Pedal will be assigned, as we can see, to the same amplifier and kind of different gain levels. So starting off here, we have the Dumble Overdrive Special. If we have button A selected, we are on a clean tone. If we move to button B, the same Dumble, but now a little bit broken up. And obviously we can do anything we want to each of these and edit them in whatever manner we see fit. Save that if we like it. Moving up. Much gainier. Then we move into Plexiland. Drive. Even more gain. With some delay. Even more gain with some delay and a tube screamer in front of it. And now we move on to the EVH 5150 Stealth. With some modulation. Moving on to a Fender Twin. Some reverb and some modulation. So you can see they've done a nice job here organizing these into individual amps with 3 presets of the same amp per bank so that we have those assigned automatically to the 3 pedals. On our big TONEX pedal, we can come down here to the Friedman BE100. So pretty cool stuff and a pretty nice quality of life style feature that is with this update. All right, I think I've covered everything. I hope that wasn't too long-winded, but I really wanted to dive in and talk a little bit about the backup process. Very, very important. As you can see, everything went very smooth with my update, so there was no issues. But if there was, I wasn't concerned because I had solid backups of both my software library and my TONEX pedal library. So it gives us some peace of mind while we're doing these updates. So I hope you guys enjoy that. This new update is available right now. Go to your IK product manager like I showed. Go do your update and you'll be up and running to mess around with some of those new free tone models and presets that we received from the kind folks over at IK Multimedia. And if you're so inclined, also check out the link below for this new collection that I just released, which is based, like I mentioned, on my Victory VC35, the Copper Deluxe amp. One of the nicest amps I've played in a long time, and I'm super happy with the way that these turned out. And I really hope that you guys actually enjoy these as well if you're so inclined. I'm going to leave you today with a full demo video of hearing these particular tone models utilized together in a mix. Hope you enjoy that. Again, links are below to the tone model collection. Thank you guys so much for sharing your time with me, and go have some fun with your new TONEX update. Please like the video, share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content. I'll be back really soon with some more. Talk to you next time.